Good evening. Please take a moment to familiarize yourself with the nearest exit, indicated by the illuminated exit sign. In case of a building evacuation, please walk, do not run, to the nearest exit. Also, please turn off all electronic devices. Thank you.
The Baron is dead. My dad. Everyone's shitting themselves because his will is about to be released, which for some is going to be the biggest thing that ever happens to them. It's like winning the Victorian lottery. So, my mom is throwing this huge ball to show everyone that she's done grieving and that she's going to come out on top or whatever. And she's also trying to marry everyone off. Well, actually, just my two sisters and me. Well, actually, just my two sisters. She likes things settled, but I think she either forgets about me or doesn't care. Middle child, you know? Anyway, conveniently for her, it's also New Year's Eve, so she can do all this without anyone even knowing that she's up to anything. Oh, and no one knows who killed the Baron or how he died. It was time for him to go anyway, so people don't really care. Stop that, it wasn't me. I have better shit to do.
The history of the human race is a history of masking. Culturally, we have embraced masks as coping mechanisms, symbols of hope, of resilience, of peace. When a mask is shared by a community, the burden it seeks to alleviate is shared. The common grieving of the people creates a solidarity and a clarity. When the mask wearer is alone, however, the effects of the mask become more unclear. This muddiness is a result of the central paradox of the mask. I am not myself. I am not myself. I am not myself. I am not myself.
Jennings, are you decent? I need to talk to you. Now, you know how much your father meant to me. I was hoping that the three of you might put together a eulogy to present tonight. A symbol of our family's solidarity and continued image among the community despite our hardship. Now, in your father's absence, my only goals, my only hopes, they surround you. I trust you're all excited about tonight. Just remember that your first priority is securing a match. Unmarried daughters without fathers to protect them are as meat for vultures. I've endeavored to invite as many possible matches as I could under the circumstances. Tonight may be the last time where your future is in your hands, so choose wisely. But more importantly, choose. I trust you'll do whatever it takes to make it happen. Do this, and all will be fine.
Looking out, I see what I want to. Looking in, I see what I hate. Looking out, I see what I want to. Looking in, I see what I hate. I neglect myself. I choose the parts of myself I want you to see. I break the mirror inside my Why is there always so much going on? If no one was watching, I'd peel all my clothes off and roll around in the grass. If no one was watching, I'd eat Ben and Jerry's and not even care that it all went to my ass.
If no one was watching, I'd sing all my lungs out and never run out of air. If no one was watching, then I'd still be tone deaf. But if no one was watching, then I wouldn't care.
If no one was watching, I'd burn this whole house down and laugh as it went up in flames. If no one was watching, well, no one's ever watching. They just want to see their picture framed. If no one was watching, I'd peel all my clothes off. I'd sing all my watching. I'd burn this whole house down and laugh as it went up. I'd eat Ben and Jerry's and not even care that it all went to my ass. They just want to see their picture framed. La 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 la.
You trying to smash, bro?
I beg your pardon? You trying to bash and thrash, bro?
I'm sorry, what?
My dude, tonight. You trying to slice and dice some sugar and spice?
All right, if you had ever been in a kitchen, you would know that that just didn't make sense.
Cause I'm trying to inhibit my pace over some ribbons and lace, bro.
Dear God, it is too early for this. The only ribbons and lace you need to be worried about are the ones in the supply closet, so could you go get those for me? Because I am almost done with this order.
Yeah, sure thing, bro. Tonight, though,
You're telling me you're not even trying to wine and dine a kind of fine piece of china?
There's a lot to unpack.
Oh, in the supply closet. I know. Going.
Morning, sir. Milk here.
Good morning, John.
Hey, I just thought of something.
And what's that?
Well, if black and white cows give white milk, then don't you think brown cows should give chocolate milk?
John, you've been working at a stable your entire life?
Yes, sir.
And you don't know where chocolate milk comes from?
No, sir.
Okay. Oh, I'll just be needing the one, John, for my breakfast. Oh, thank you, John.
So, any big New Year's Eve plans?
Yes, I'll be attending the house ball in honor of the late Baron.
Wait, you'll be attending?
Yes, I'll be attending, John. And I'll just be needing the one. Thank you.
Oh, by the way, did you see what they printed on page 3? How the fine gentlemen in the House of Lords could possibly fathom that vetoing the welfare bill could have anything but disastrous repercussions for what has come to be so evidently obsolescent an organ of government is beyond me. I'm eager to delve into the Prime Minister's inevitable retort on what seems to me like a completely preposterous conjecture and overstep of parliamentary precedent.
You can read?
He always says the most peculiar things. The most peculiar things. The most peculiar things.
She's a strange one. Yes, the strange one. A really funny girl, a very funny girl.
The whole lot of them. The whole lot of them, scallywags and scum and dirt. Scallywags and scum and dirt.
Always says the most peculiar things.
Scallywags and scum and dirt. Scallywags and scum and dirt.
He always says the most peculiar things.
Scallywags and scum and dirt. Scallywags and scum and dirt.
But look at me, does it really matter? I watch others rise while I sit here getting sadder. How I wish I could stop being pushed into a niche. I heard so-and-so is coming. Oh, I hate that bitch. Tonight is the night I plan to reveal all the things I've been thinking, the feels that I feel. So today I must hide all that may tell what's real. If my face is a letter, I must not break the seal. For fears those may see, all the fears I conceal. I know not what I do, my mind turns not this wheel. Yet it spins and I gamble, securing this deal. Stuck though and broken, I lie never to heal. No one ever notices, so no one will ask. No one has ever bothered to look beneath.
Put it on to see my
Put it on to find a toy.
Put it on to show its
Put it on so she'll be put it on so he'll shut
Put
up.
it on to fill my
Put it
cup.
on to keep them out.
The weight is killing me, killing me, killing me. I am not myself today. I am not myself. I'm not myself, I say. I am not myself.
I can't be myself tonight.
I can't be myself.
For me, that's myself is not quite right.
One of the main facets found in the tradition of masks and masking is that of multifaceted duplicity. First, masks are inherently performative. An audience of at least one is required for the mask to exist. In this way, we see another facet of duplicity, that through their bridging of one's most intimate desires and their outward persona, we see how masks both serve to conceal and yet also reveal. How they form a bridge between the past ancestral self and our present desires. Much like us, masks do not exist in isolation. In fact, they are defined by who views them. Much like us, they are both earnest and manipulative. And much like us, the only consistent thing about them is their inconsistency. Although masking for cultural purposes is restricted to Homo sapiens, in our masking traditions, we have often drawn on several animal species for inspiration in our practices. For example, many Paleolithic peoples were aware of the life processes of a certain frog, Bufo marinus. This species is marked for its powers of transformation and incredible longevity. It begins as an egg, then moves through life as a tadpole, then as a rapidly growing four-legged nocturnal carnivore that can live up to 40 years. To accommodate its rapid growth, in addition to shedding its skin, Bufo eats its own horny skin, seemingly eating his old life to create a new one. Human tribes, inspired by this, use masquerade as a way to negotiate for longevity of the new self and success of the generation to follow.
She is stupid, heavy, and garrulous. Her ideas on morals have the same depth of judgment and delicacy of feeling as those of janitresses and kept women. The fact that there are men who could become enamored of this slut is indeed a proof of the abasement of the men of this generation.
I remember leaving. My mother cradling my hand in hers. The smell of her sweet perfume mixing with my scent of cigar smoke and leather. A tear dropping on the tweed trousers she'd caught me in for the last time. She looked at me and said, "My darling, I can hardly believe you're even my Emma Bird anymore." I looked at her and I said, "Dresses with feathers made to help us look like something we're not. We don the plumage of others in hopes of becoming more like them. But you could pluck every peacock that lived, and still I would not fly. Mother, I do not wish to. I wish only to run. Emma, I am. Ma, I am me. Same front or back ways, though it may be hard to see. I am the same as I always have been. Is wearing the pants really a sin?" She shut the door, and I went on my way. But to me, it felt like a win. So I searched, I got up, I learned how to pass. I learned not to argue, how not to get asked. With a puff of my cigar, I've kept on my mask. So then, like any sensible woman, I married myself off to a man even less sensitive than my cockatoo of a mother. Why? Well, that's a good question. I figured it would keep my mother quiet, and I still loved her.
so I figured it could be a compromise. But whenever I mull this over, I come to the conclusion that I just needed another good reason to run away. And I found a man who seemed to see he could be, but how? Oh well, not miss, but madam, with Mr. for now. This could be a world where women aren't birds, where I'm held not for my plumage, but the truth in my words. But he drank all up. Every penny that I gave him was a drunk who only prayed for me to be forgiven. For my penchant for paragraphs, not my figure, the hourglass I envision drips time through his fingertips. No, I won't seek permission from someone who squanders every sliver of silver, every galleon of gold. So I left him bereft and flew out into the cold. The feather in my cap became the quill held by my hand. I wrote of things I hoped no one would have to understand. I crowned myself, I found myself with every reprimand. A reminder that I'm not the type they expect to find on land. No more will I just sit and ask if I'm ever meant to fly. No more will I pluck out my wings just to spite the sky. No more is there a crying bird longing to be free. There I am nothing. Here I am me. Here I am me. Here I am me.
Wait a moment, sweet beauty.
As if! How many times do I have to tell you? It's just not gonna happen.
But, sweet madam, if you only knew the depth of my love.
The only thing that is apparent of the depth of your love for yourself. I feel sorry for the kitchen wench you'll land yourself with. Ouch, bud. Oh, I'm not taking it. Nice try.
Oh, pardon me, miss.
No, forgive me, sir.
Miss.
What's this you're reading?
Writing, actually.
I've never heard of it before.
It's a fragile manuscript, actually. I'm trying to get it published. So, would
An
you mind?
author! How exciting! Oh, of course, how foolish of me. What sorts of things do you write?
All sorts. This one's on its way to get published, actually. So.
You have to excuse me, I'm just a tad nervous is all.
What for?
No idea. Well, actually, there is this gathering tonight. It's a masked ball. For New Year's, of course. It's at mine. There will be plenty of distinguished men there, likely with connections in publishing. They may be able to help you. That is, if you'd like to come with me.
Oh.
Yes. Yes, in fact, I'd love for you to be my guest. Take a look, sir. Here's the invite.
Devonshire House. I'm afraid I'm unfamiliar with the specifics of the area.
A newcomer? How delicious. Where are you from?
I'm of the Dupin family.
My. A Frenchman so far from home? I hope we can be hospitable to you this evening. The address is just there, on the envelope.
I thank you. I am very grateful for the invitation. At what time should I find you there?
Say, 8 o'clock. I wait with bated breath.
Okay, what the hell? She goes after this puny author. His muscle is of no consequence. He was most graceful in his manner, most gentle in his speaking. I'd say he almost captured a feminine spirit in his presence. My word. Well, take a look, sir, at me. I think I have the key at last to at least begin understanding.
One of the fascinating common uses of masks across human history is that of offense and defense. Masks were used to protect the wearer from some physical or spiritual harm, or to aid them in some offensive task. It is also important to note that the tradition of masquerade is that of male domination. Very few societies entertain masquerades by women, and men therefore have always played the female roles when needed in masquerades. These two seemingly independent facets dance around each other in complex ways and intersect prominently when we recognize men as the historic hunters of our race, of all kinds of prey.
Well, thank you very much, sir, and do enjoy yourself tonight. I look forward to seeing you there.
And you as well. Oh, I never caught your full name, Mr.
Jennings-Dudenham. Julian, James Augustus, Jonathan, Atticus, Jerome, Alfred Jennings-Dudenham. JJAJAJD for short. And this is my colleague, Gerald, Roderick, Lester, Octavian, Magnus, George, Ichibald, Donald, Kringeworth III.
Of course. So, GRLOMGIDK for short.
Why, yes. No one ever gets it that quickly. Well, is there anything else I can get for you?
No, sir. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.
Mm-hmm. Can you believe that? Only 3 names. Edward, Wilmot, Blyden. That's it. I wonder how the poor thing even manages.
Enough of that, JJAJ. I'm bordering on an epiphany.
Okay, well, does that epiphany involve you finishing the orders that were due at noon? Because Madame Raffle MDMA is going to be in here any minute, and I don't want to have to deal with that one.
No, something even better. JJAJ, you are completely aware of our plight with the fairer sex.
Sweet Jesus, not this again. Yes, but I think that right now...
I have the perfect solution. Do you remember our famous hunting outing in which you dressed up as a turkey and we covered you in its urine in order to lure it out of the woods?
remember y'all holding me down and pouring turkey urine, of which I am still unsure as to your methods of acquisition, all over my body, and then drunkenly threatening me at gunpoint so that I would go and find a turkey so that you could poach it.
Your camouflage, a sort of decoupage, served as a strong mirage against the green collage of the wood. Our subsequent barrage of turkey sabotage prompted our entourage to feast back at the lodge, an annual tradition now, thanks to your dressage, for good.
Why, yes, I do remember. You remind me every year at the annual feast.
Don't you see, JJAJ? This is the solution to our long-standing problem with these turkeys.
Do you mean ladies?
That's what I said.
Right. So you're thinking...
To capture prey, one must think like prey. One must pray to act and sing and dance and play like prey.
Like prey.
Yes! One must dress like prey, waste the day like prey. As we found it is the thing that brings them down in hunting.
Okay, but is that really the aim here? I feel like the ideal is a society in which we've eliminated the whole predator-prey metaphor when we're talking about finding partners. But I mean... Oh, my lord. Oh, my lord. You look ravishing.
Why, thank you.
Oh, yep, This is happening, yeah. To play with prey, one must look like prey. One must crimp and plump and lift and lump and flit and flutter away. Like prey, to be coy like prey, to plot and ploy like prey, to fan and sway and faint over a boy. Like prey, one must dance as they, to romance as they, to spin and swirl and tilt and whirl away. Like prey. Okay. Figuring this out. Yep. Okay. No. A 1, 2, 3. One with long golden hair.
With one.
Forthwith.
With four.
Forthright are you, brother?
Sister.
Yes, forgive me, mister.
Oh?
Madam.
Madam?
Oh, miss.
Oh, pish, you put my panties in a twist. Hee hee.
Ho ho.
Ha ha.
Ha ha. To be as one that you want to be with, to tighten your morals
as you wish hers adrift,
to be as one, to be patient, to bide, to cross your legs tightly,
wishing hers open wide,
to be as one that you adore, saying that you're fine when
and always wanting more. Oh, woman, oh, woman, oh, woman, oh, woman, woman, woman. I pray, woman, So tonight, we feast. But first, we must prepare for the hunt. After you, miss.
As previously mentioned, one of the common reasons traditions of masking have arisen is out of a need for offense or defense, in both a physical and a spiritual sense. This extends to the magic of anonymity and disguise. With anonymity comes the freedom to shed one's identity in order to play as essentially anything one might imagine. Freedom to break the rules. Freedom to look deep inside oneself and present only the most profound.
Milk. Milk is good. Milk is tasty. Milk is good when you're feeling hasty. You don't even gotta go to the well, go to the well, go to the well. All you gotta do is find a cow. I like cows. Cows are good. Cows are tasty. Well, only if you don't make friends with them. Well, 'cause sometimes it's sad when you, milk is good. Milk is yummy. I like milk when it sits in my tummy. And you can make lots of things out of it, like butter and cheese and... Oh, my good lady, please forgive me.
Oh, no use crying over, well, you know.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I should have been
really, it's fine. I'm sorry to have made you lose such good fresh milk.
Oh, it's all right. The cows are healthy. We have it in abundance.
Oh.
I do apologize. Such a pretty dress, too.
Why, thank you. In fact, I think the milk becomes it.
Oh, I could go get more. Well, here, take this. At least let me help you dry off.
What's your name? You haven't been here long.
No, miss. I'm John.
Well, I'm pleased to meet you at last.
Oh, I know who you are. I mean, everyone does. You can't traipse around in gowns like that and expect me not to ask after you.
I'm pleased that your charm matches your looks, though I must admit I'm not surprised. I've risen early to watch you deliver milk for our breakfasts. There's something about you.
Though our eyes have met, I never thought our hearts would.
Nor I, though I hoped and wished that they would. I was once so sweet, so surly. Rise up bright and early, watching for that tuft of hair to emerge on the horizon. The sound of those 6 bottles clinking.
I swore that once I caught you winking.
Not blinking, a chink in the armor of my eyes. And I never thought I would come face to face with the one my heart could not erase, no matter how hard I tried. And I'd lie wondering if your kisses tasted like the milk you stored,
like the silks you wore
in the
your
icebox
tower.
right outside. That's it! I have the creamiest idea.
Does it involve paying the cows a visit?
Well, it might, but I'm thinking much further.
Distance or time?
No, I mean tonight.
Oh?
Dancing, don't you see?
Not presently.
The ball, everyone will be all in masks.
You want me to serve people like this?
No, silly. I'm going to get you a suit and a mask, a proper one.
Oh, I see. But who will I be?
A courtesan from,
Mudville?
no, land? No, a foreign courtesan. French?
Mais oui, c'est parfait.
Wait, how do you speak?
Je suis le meilleur courtisan de la ville. Vachement.
Vachement. But Cowley, but that doesn't really...
No. As in M-O-N-T.
You can read?
It's the perfect disguise. You can find a suit?
Yes, and a mask.
Where can I meet you?
All the way up those stairs. The main entrance. 8 o'clock.
I know the sound of cows, so why do I hear the nightingale song?
I know that they're your eyes, but instead I see stars. I know I'm not wrong. In that sky, there is a place for us to dance.
To dance.
Move over, cows, for it's time to milk this chance. Too cheesy? I know, but it's too easy. Okay, fine. Anyway. This face I trust, this space for us, we'll find our Milky Way.
I like her. She is good. She is funny. I don't know why my eyes are running. She makes me feel very good, feel very good, feel very good. I like her so. I don't think a lot. Think a lot, a lot. But I'm thinking about her. Yeah, I'm thinking about her.
Two other prominent traditions of masking arose out of festivals of renewal and ceremonies surrounding rites of passage. The former were centered around ensuring a good harvest, fertility, or peace in the new year, where ornate masks were made for elaborate performances to the gods. The rituals also maintained social order as they divided the community into groups. Those performing, those making the masks, cooking food, playing music, etc. The later, ceremonies surrounding rites of passage occur around the life cycle: birth, adolescence, and death. Children are given masks in their names. Boys have to wear ceremonial masks and perform ritualized dances in order to pass into manhood. And the dead are given masks for safe passage into the afterlife. As mentioned, some are included in these ceremonies, given groups to fall into. Some, however, must keep their silence and watch.
So enough about me. Tell me about your boy.
So sweet and nice.
Oh, good afternoon. So glad you two could make it.
What's this about?
You can't be serious.
Come on, we have to start getting ready.
This is unbelievable. Are you so wrapped up in your shopping and your stable boy that you forgot literally the one thing we had to do for tonight?
We were just coming back to help.
Seriously, do we have to do...
Okay, how should we start?
Start? I've been working all morning. I already have a draft. I thought you each might have something to contribute.
You always do this. You guilt us into feeling like we did something wrong. We were coming back to help, and now you've done the whole thing. I bet you've even written parts for
Guilting
us.
you? Maybe I should be. Where have you been all morning? Dad should be the only man you should be thinking of honoring tonight. Honestly, it sickens me how you can come tittering in here with stories of some farm boy you just want to whisk you away.
Enough. Either way, the eulogy must be finished. It's what Mother asked us to do. Together. So, let's have a look.
Once upon a time...
You're gonna use once upon a time to start a eulogy?
Dad was a magnificent storyteller, in case you've forgotten. And I think he would have liked for us to frame his life as a story and not a stoic and solid block of accomplishments.
Go on.
Once upon a time, there lived a young dancer, a strong dancer. Everywhere he performed, people were inspired by his leaps, his ability to seem suspended in the air, defying the laws of gravity. Those who knew him saw this defiance carried over into his demeanor off stage. One day, he met a young woman, also a dancer, a strong dancer, who shared in his freedom. Together, they created a new kind of movement, both in their dance and their ideas. They knew each other as most people only hope to know themselves. They, together, became known for their warmth and security in themselves and each other.
Then they had a daughter. As his wife couldn't dance with a baby around, she began to experience life on the ground, began hearing more things about her husband, how not all people saw God in his leaps, how some even thought he was mad. He in the sky never noticed. He just kept dancing, spreading his warmth, and even more offers came in for him to dance farther and farther away from home. As the daughter grew, Mother wanted to protect her from what others might think of the family. A mother at home with a father always away, grooming her into the perfect daughter of high society. An image for the outside, a joy to present when her husband would return home, which he did.
Then they had another daughter. Only this daughter could hardly be kept away from her father. Father was able to dance more locally while this one was small, and so, while Mother was teaching sewing and etiquette lessons to the elder that the younger wasn't quite old enough for, Younger sat quietly at every rehearsal of her father's, watching mesmerized as he worked through every combination and step. Then she grew and learned to dance. She trained so that when her father would come back from performing in faraway lands, she could show him the progress she made and listen to his stories. Meanwhile, the elder was helping Mother tend to the house less and less as the money came in, finding pleasure in what her father's performances could afford her, beautiful dresses and invitations to fancy balls. Mother and daughter growing out of freedom and into confinement, out of childhood and into jaded womanhood together. Through this separation, father away and mother at home, they learned to play the perfect, sane wife and daughter who kept everyone's gossip at bay, so that when father came home, his house was intact, though mother herself was beginning to question whether the gossip was in fact justified. The gleam in his eye that used to spark her to dance now seemed animalistic, crazed.
Despite this, they had another, a final daughter. This one grew up in a house clearly split. All she knew was a beautiful doll of a mother, ever present, and a spirit of a father, always away.
Only the middle daughter observed the change, it seemed. The young dancer who was free, who danced with her spirit of a partner, losing movement, loosening ties to herself as she tightened the ties of a corset. The spirit of her husband, the father of her 3 daughters, ever present, ever alive. We lament the loss of a caring mother, tricked into believing life as a doll could be substituted for any life at all. May she rest in peace.
You're sick.
She said to write a eulogy. She never said who it had to be about. I thought it only fitting, seeing as father's spirit is ever alive. It's our mother who's dead.
That's morbid.
That's the truth.
Come now. We have to get ready, and now time is short. We'll away to our rooms where we will draft an alternate version together. Sister, I trust our teamwork will entreat you to civility. Come now.
Then once we are done, we can look to the future, to the night we will share together, to music and dancing as father would have wanted, to what must call us 3 by the end of the night, the Nightingale's song.
Have you ever heard a nightingale sing? No, I'm asking. Has anyone ever heard a nightingale sing? In the flesh, in the night, or do they just like to sing about it as if it's fresh? It just sounds right. I bet they don't even know what one looks like. No. They fit their hearts full of love into cliches like a glove, and never stop to think if they've gotten it all wrong. They may listen, but not hear the nightingale song. Have you ever been in love? Has anyone ever been in love? We believe what we feel, not what we see or hear. I'm sure you believe it too. Deaf to our eyes, blind to our ears. No wonder they don't hear the nightingale coo. Nothing special, really. But does anyone see? Does anyone hear? I am only my face. I am only my song. Maybe she's just going along. Maybe
She has no choice but to go along.
But I will never be like her. If you're always in flight, how can you ever know what's happening on the ground? If you're in your own head, how can you even look around? Your words might stay, but your face will go, with not a trace to be found.
belt on the chest, an unending choke of tea, not falling, not squeezing, but pressed. A silence so loud, it's cacophony. It's cackles when you're used to simple stares. It's ives when you're used to homophony. It's shackles where he used to be bare. Ring held in his fist, me not given, only lent. Everyone thinks gold is forever, but really it just comes and it goes. We came to receive it together, but that's when the deceiver arose. Always these men and their medals that they cycle and race to obtain. But as soon as their feet leave the pedals, you realize the reason they raced was all feigned. See, the thing about men and their races, the interest is never the prize. It's competing and showing their faces. I'm not sure then why now I'm surprised. There was a story once, a fable about a king as rich as can be. So he gave all the gold he was able to everyone as far as I can see. Of course, what happens next is no mystery, and it's the same here as far as I'm concerned. The more you give, the more you find your history, and the self is lost in giving what you've earned. So who am I? Not gold, but plastic. I present myself as solid, though I'm hollow. To most, though, the difference isn't drastic. When the pendulum swings, the eye tends to follow. Follow, follow, follow. Servants making final preparations, and by the looks of it, getting out their frustrations, which is fine with me. All is fine with me. I need to make sure that they're fine, even if that means never letting them see that I'm not. I must ensure their matches as a sign that they will never know and never need to. That must be fine. How fitting that this is a masked ball. These people don't even know what they miss. These people don't even know what's inside at all. Hollow, ornate bliss. So I'll talk and I'll joke and I'll laugh, sure, though my smile will very quickly fade. No matter, it's all that I'm here for. What is life but a masquerade? So I'll talk and I'll joke and I'll laugh, sure, but my smile will very quickly fade. No matter, it's all that I'm here for. What's my life but a masquerade? What is my life but a masquerade? What's my life but a masquerade?
transformation of the mask, men discover and explore aspects of the feminine. When men play women, the feminine signs are remade and appropriated within the patriarchal context of the masked performance. As Peggy Fallon concludes, a represented woman is always a copy of a copy. The real of woman cannot be represented precisely because her function is to represent man. She is the mirror and is thus never in it. Her narrowly defined but ubiquitous image represents the frenzy of man to see she who makes him.
Rain, make it rain, girl, make it. Mother Russia in my cup, and my glass is fogging up. Oh yeah, hey dog, hey what's up?
Oh yeah, hey dog, hey what's up?
When the sweaty walls are banging, I don't fuck with family planning. Make it rain, girl, make it rain. 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 Make it rain, girl, make it rain.
Way to go. Now everybody's staring at you.
Excuse me?
Can you tell your friend he's doing a terrible job?
I beg your pardon?
Your friend over there? He hardly even shaved, his powder is atrocious, and you can tell he hasn't worn a corset a day in his life.
I'm afraid I don't know who you're talking about.
Oh, don't wet yourself. I won't tell. Goodness knows what hell would break loose.
You mean to say you can tell?
Of course I can. And you too.
Oh dear God. But you won't tell.
Do I look like a schoolgirl to you? Don't answer that one.
Wait, so you're saying...
Yes, sir. I mean, miss.
Well, that's incredible. How did you manage the voice, the stubble, the suit?
Lower your voice. This isn't my first masked ball.
Well, I'm impressed, and your secret is safe with me. Might I ask why?
I write books. And while men may like the writing, they don't like it coming from a woman. Cocktail parties and balls are only good for schmoozing if you can ensure that their main priority is not sleeping with you. So I've been sitting here scouting out who looks the oldest, the richest, and the most likely to be able to publish a book. Besides, once I started dressing like this, I realized how much easier it is.
You really think so?
Are you daft? You get trousers, you can walk normally, you can breathe.
I suppose. But there's something so special about it. Not having to walk if it doesn't please you. You can just sit. And the gowns. I've never felt better about myself in my whole life. I mean, sure, a men's suit can be elegantly crafted, but they could never hold a candle to the sublimity of a gown. The softness of the fabric, the fitting of the bosom, the beadwork, the lace.
Well, it's very becoming on you.
You really think so? Yeah, it was my friend's idea. Yep, the one over there. See, he had the notion that women are as prey, and sometimes when you're hunting, you must dress like the prey.
Wait, are you...
To capture the prey? But when I say that out loud, it sounds really bad.
Wait, so you're trying to tell me that he is trying to get into her skirt by wearing one himself?
I think that was his idea, yeah.
Well, that's just not how it works. You see, I can't tell if he's on the verge of genius or complete masculine idiocy. Besides, I came here on a mission, so I'm gonna go.
Yes, of course. But I have a tip or two for you of to whom you might want to speak with, if you have a tip or two for me about how to make my mask a bit more convincing.
Fine. Your camouflage, a sort of decoupage, could use a slight massage, perhaps a small corsage on your wrist. Keep your torso straight as a fuselage, and wait so that you know your entourage knows that you are not a mere mirage to be missed. Keep your ankles crossed, your head held high, smile at any cost, but keep it wry, shoulders loose, never slouched, no excuse, you little grouch. The price to pay for trim and lace, conceal the grin beneath your face. You'll always feel your dress the wrong way, though every other lady feels the same dismay. Never show your feet are dying, though your strength and your weakness is in your crying.
Better?
Much. Anything for me before I go?
Well, To pass as they, one must always sway, never sway. Must boast and toast and spread the most, okay? Like they. One must fight as they, think you're right as they. One must write and light and never fright, but always fight like they.
To pass as they, one must always sway. One must toast and look engrossed and seem pale as a ghost as they. One must croon as they, even swoon as they. One must make every effort possible to mention the moon as they. All these things they feel they have to do. What joy they could bring if they did what felt true. Miserable one, miserable all, betwixt inside and out, should never lie a wall.
I'd do anything to help you see success.
I thank you.
Well, I guess I should see how my friend's getting along over there.
She seems too interested in herself to notice his stubble anyhow. Shall we?
Certainly, sir.
Oh, how rotten. How absolutely rotten. Did you just see him take her there back to dance? How could he think she's pretty? I've been here sitting, fluffing, and primping, and not more than 3 glances this entire time. Oh, men are simply not worth our time, are they?
Well, I'm sure he'd dance with you if you just went up and spoke to him instead of sitting here and complaining.
Are you out of your mind? Go up and talk to him. Oh dear, I might as well just be a kitten wench. Oh, prostituting myself over a gentleman, I don't think so. I'd just as well take off all my clothes and swing from the chandeliers.
Well, I just think it's an awful lot of work for a gentleman to understand implicitly that a woman is interested. I mean, what if he's shy? Completely unfair to assume that he...
Shy, good one. Oh, dear Lord. Oh, gentlemen don't get to be shy. Women get to be shy. Women have to be shy. It's our job to sit and wait for them to ask us to dance. Which then if they do, we dance with them and tell them that they are marvelous dancers, even when they're not, because they never are. And then we have to pretend to be out of breath and ask them to go fetch us a drink because their breath smells wretched, and we want to see who we'll dance with next. And when they come back, we'll have to excuse ourselves to go powder our noses, only we don't go and powder our noses. We go and take a big shit because the lobster at dinner was too heavy, and this dress is getting tighter by the minute, but of course, that requires the unlacing of about 500 million ties and clips, and then you're all sweaty, and by the time you finally finish putting everything back on, you go and check in the mirror, and you just look absolutely haggard. And you're wondering how you're ever going to get a husband when you look like one of those baboons they brought for the circus. You know, the one they brought to town last month. And you're wondering how to get your hair to look like you haven't just taken a kitchen boy out back, even though right about now that idea is tempting. And you forgot your powder at home, so you use some tissue on your face, but then you just look like a dried clown. A dried clown baboon, and you're wondering how you're ever going to get a husband when you look like a dried clown baboon, and your feet are killing you, and you're about to collapse on the floor of the powder room, but then suddenly, another girl walks in. And she's hoping for the privacy you've just had, and you don't directly acknowledge her. You just suck in, stick up your nose as though you sprout roses out of your armpits, and you pretend you were checking your lip color, and then you waltz right back out to this lousy sea of men to see which wretched, pompous, arrogant, smelly, chin-wagging young man you're going to have to cozy up to next. And then the process continues until they're all too drunk and they're telling you how beautiful you are, even though you know right well that you look like your Auntie Geraldine after she passed her kidney stone. And you have to pretend that they're charming and funny, and why don't we just all take a bath instead? A nice bath with rose petals and candles and perfume. And no bloody men! Is it night yet? I can't sleep. I can never sleep. Even when I pray, even when I lay, my dreams cut like a knife. That sight sharper than any in the wake of life. I pray for beasts to run and give way to sweeter creatures of the night. Instead, I weep. I feel my blood running deep. I can never sleep. My days are drowsy. My thoughts are lousy. Nothing new in sight can I make. If one can never sleep, how can one ever be awake? I am an image to behold. But a picture isn't meant to grow old. I am in a shell. I am in hell, so it's just as well. I can never sleep. I can never wake. I can never sleep. I can never wake. I can never wake. I can never wake. I can never wake. Wake me up.
Oh, may I get you another drink, miss?
Oh, yes. That'd be marvelous, thank you.
I never knew someone else thought this way.
Well, don't you have any other women friends?
No, I'm afraid not. Not more than acquaintances, anyway.
No sisters, then?
Only one. She mainly kept to herself. Never bothered to ask. The rest, brothers.
Oh. Men think they make great conversation, but they really don't know a thing about us. As for me, I've got my eyes set on that one over there. Help me catch him, won't you?
How am I supposed to do that?
Compliment me when I'm around him. Pretend you serve me the whole 9 yards. Oh, you poor thing. Just follow along.
We really outdid ourselves. You look like a true gentleman. How you have them fooled?
Not without your help, Grandflesh. Remember, it's not the clothes that make the man. It's strong bones as a result of proper calcium intake. And an even stronger woman by his side. Thank you.
Okay, fine.
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 Okay, fine. So, where is the esteemed madame?
Not right now. She needs time to steep in the night. We'll find the right time later. For now, we enjoy each other's company and the open bar.
Do you think they have any milk?
Oh my god.
Where did you say you were from again?
Oh, a small village, about an hour's carriage ride from here. My cousin brought me.
Oh? And where is he?
Well, I'm afraid she was asked to dance by the gentleman you're trying to woo.
Oh, how foul. Well, she's very pretty. You must tell her for me.
I'm sure she'd appreciate that. I have an idea. What if I pull her away from him and then have him introduce you to the fine gentleman? Then you two can dance, and you won't have had to do it for yourself.
Now you're getting the idea. Lead the way.
Well, hello, cousin dear. So sorry to interrupt. I was hoping you could introduce us to your friend here. You two dance splendidly.
Why, thank you. Yes, this is,
George, a pleasure to meet you. You look ravishing. Both of you.
Why, thank you.
Why, thank you. Cousin, can I get you a drink?
Yes. Could you get one for us? We have some business to discuss.
Once again, I'd like to thank you for the invitation. The night has been splendid so far. It's just, I haven't seemed to have caught a hold of any of those publishers you had mentioned.
Oh, yes, but you mustn't forget to ask me to dance.
Yes, it's just that.
I simply adore your dress. The beadwork. Wherever did you have it made?
Well, there's a dressmaker just in town does fabulous work. You know, he's such a dashing young gentleman. It's such
such a shame for him to stand us up tonight.
How in the good Lord's name am I even supposed to explain myself to those surprised I even speak their language? They stare, gaping, eyes wide, as if I were a leopard, set free from a cage, from a cage, from the cage. You're surprised I have something to say. Who I am is dependent on who I'm speaking to or what I'm wearing. I must be aware at every moment of what I wear, the state of my hair, as if I am both a doll and his maker. But I am alive. And I am not for your entertainment. I never want to entertain. I am a scholar. My aim is to provoke. But how do you even begin? How do you even begin when they see only the color of your skin? Not your heart, not your brain, not your knowledge, nor your pain, not all the prizes, but the package. What they see, they are blind. How can they read? Read my mind if I cannot speak it to them. Ears not fit to hear the leopard's roar from behind the bars. They see a scar. People couldn't believe that a black African wrote this book, my book. So, in the next edition, I put my black African face on the cover. You better believe it. Lady here invited me kindly. I think she understands how these festivities exhaust me. I can understand when my brothers and sisters say, let us do away with the sentiment of race. Let us do away with the African personality and be lost, if possible, in some other race. And of course, the race in which these persons would be absorbed is the dominant race, which in cringing self-surrender and ignoble self-suppression, they lie in prostrate admiration. They would have themselves in permanent mass, allowing the beneath to wash away. But I cannot bear to wear mine for more than one night, more than a day, without feeling myself bursting through. I thank the lady. But there is no way for her to know. I've done all I can do. Now I must go. I could return. But that would mean to preach to a leopard what being a leopard means. What's the use in that? What's the use in anything? What's the use in anything? Why am I even here? Why should I bother? Why do I keep writing books upon books upon books upon words upon pages upon ink upon quills upon thought to those who wouldn't hear? But the roar of a leopard, but a purr of a leopard, but a purr of this leopard. How am I even supposed to begin when they see only the color of my skin?
Excuse me, sir, Mr. Blyden. It is you, great Scott. I am a huge fan of your work. I am an author as well. Would you like to get a drink?
Things get more complicated when you get under your own skin. More complicated, but more raw. Complicated as a grin being shocked into a drop jaw. Complicated as you feel idiotic for only seeing now what felt like a good trick melting into something else, and how you felt so dismissive with him submissive and never seeing why this mockery of experience could ever turn things awry. Complicated as my cheeks getting red when he fastened my wig, my head feeling meek when it used to feel big, my palms getting sweaty when he made his big scene, my feet already unsteady as I've never felt so keen. Complicated as my heart beating harder when he comes up to me and laughs, finally allowed to shine as bright as the beadwork that he crafts, my stomach turning deeper than can be explained by champagne, this poor one I have bullied now, causing me pain. I live under his skin. I relish in this fetish of dissecting one secure. I live under his skin, hiding beneath the place myself above, so domineering, so sure. When I sat with her, I sat listening to a friend, listening as if I never before had an ear to lend. Complicated as seeing her, not an object but a voice, urging me towards you as if I had a choice. Getting under my skin. Why did it take covering up for me even to begin? Getting under his skin. Her skin. Under the skin doesn't matter, and if it does, is that the sin? Whoa, is not a game you can win. It's peeling everything back and realizing with almost chagrin you found in someone different a heart that is twin. I don't deserve it, but I want it. I want life with you. I want life with you under my skin, under my skin, under my skin, under my skin.
Look, if you're here to boast or spit on me, I'm not having it. This is the best I have felt in years. So, honestly, thank you, you big idiot, for... Wow! Okay, I can't say I've never thought about that, but... Wow, thinking and experiencing are two very different things, honey.
Hi.
Literally, who drugged you?
No one.
Okay, how many drinks have you had?
Maybe 5?
So you're sober, great. Did you lose a bet? Oh. Sweet Jesus! You cannot do this, Gerald. I don't know what kind of internalized bullshit this is, but the fact of the matter is we couldn't unpack this right now if we wanted to, because we are both dressed as women, and so this still looks queer.
Whoa, man.
I'm sorry. I just don't know how to process this right now. What did you expect to happen just then?
I don't know.
So you promise that you're not bullshitting me?
No, it's just me.
Okay. Just... No. You do not just get to lay one on me like that after all these years. What do you want me to do? Whip out a pride flag and wave it in the air for you? After years of abuse. Yes, abuse. Turkey urine is not a fucking joke, Gerald. I have endured years of you belittling me, mocking me, shaming me, because the dress shop was a safe place for me. I knew you liked having me around too much. You couldn't stand to be alone, and so I stayed. But this has not been a walk in the park for me. You feel so entitled to every woman that comes your way. You could not possibly understand what it's like to want to be something that you're not. And what I don't understand is you choose tonight. You choose tonight to decide that you're entitled to me too. What am I, just pray to you? Or are you such a literal skirt chaser that you see beads and like a Pavlovian dog you start to drool, never thinking about all the thought that went into every single fucking bead, every adornment. Every choice is a choice I made to stay. But now you've pulled the last thread, and I am not gonna let this gown get stained by your fucking mess.
Complicated as...
I think it's about time.
Yeah?
It's that ripe time of the night where everything either dies or gets crazy. It's like when milk is about to go bad. You either let it spoil or you make it into cream or bake it into something.
Oh, now we're cooking.
Sure, cooking. Hold that thought.
Good evening, little dove. Who have we here?
Mama, this
What's cooking, good looking? glad to see you haven't lost your smile. Charmed as usual. Though I must admit, another has captured my heart in the meantime.
Yes, I see you've met my youngest. Darling, this is John Keating Walter Oswald Woolworth, Esquire. He's the grandson of old friends of my father's.
Esquire?
Oh, do close your mouth, dear. It's impolite to gape. You might remember him. You two used to play together when you were younger. Out in the fields of all places. We could hardly separate the two of you.
Well, we won't keep you, madame. And besides, it seems we have a lot of catching up to do. Thank you for the invitation. My parents were very sorry to miss it. They send their condolences for your loss.
Of course. Perhaps we shall see them at a potential future wedding?
It would be my greatest honor. Darling.
Oh, seems our little dove has taken flight. No doubt to powder her nose, no matter. Enjoy your evening. I'm off to ensure my midnight plans are in order.
What are you doing here?
Who's asking?
Me?
Well,
there must be plenty of cooler places for you to be tonight. I'd assume you'd be in Paris or at least somewhere other than this hellhole.
Well, I was invited by the devil herself, and when one receives from her, one does not refuse.
Fond of my mother, are you? Not to worry, I'm in your camp, though I've been a bit better at avoiding her than you, I'd say. Strange, though, you're a little old for her to drag you here for one of us. Not that you look it, unless... Oh, fuck.
How do you know how old I am?
She wants you.
Beg pardon.
You're standing as a reputable scholar, though I didn't think she'd read any of your work.
And you have.
Of course. As soon as I saw that face on the cover, I had to read what it had to say. But I never imagined that it would show up here tonight, even more handsome than in print.
So what you're saying is that your mother brought me here to court her, even though this ball is in honor of her late husband and she hasn't read a shred of my work.
I'm also saying that I've read all I could get my hands on, whilst never imagining I might get my hands on you.
Why? What drew you to it?
I often feel that no one around me thinks about the world. I'm surrounded by women who are tricked so far into their own heads they forget the world even exists. My father wasn't like that. There was a relentless curiosity in him that was contagious. That scared people, I think, but I loved it. I've been burying myself in books that feel bigger than me ever since, to keep me close, I think.
I was sorry to hear of his passing. We were good friends. I saw him dance once. He was inspired. A man who truly knew himself. They are rare.
Which is why I'm stunned to have one before me.
Even rare for a woman to know herself. The world has set so many traps for you, yet here you are.
Not without my fair share of bumps and scrapes. Which is why I have the tact to ask if it would be a trap to ask you to accompany me upstairs.
Trapping you or trapping me?
Well, is one who traps ever free?
So you have read my books, I see.
Cover to cover, leaf by leaf.
Then you know I don't like to make things brief.
I'm delighted by what to most would bring grief.
The thoroughness of my pen.
If that trait is applied elsewhere, then...
I assure you that my hand is steady.
Then it would seem that all is ready.
You have a place.
You name the time.
Well, is it a race?
If you'll bet a dime.
Hand?
In mine.
Lead the way.
Fine.
It takes a few falls to stand straight on your feet. It takes walking through doors until you finally meet another person alive with nothing to lose. It makes something strong that's not afraid to bruise.
I'm not one to sing a nightingale's praise. I've probably killed a good few in my younger days. So don't think you've trapped a wide-eyed ingenue. The most supple skin has once been black and blue.
It's not something I'd ask for.
Also not something I'd feign.
I just know that despite the gore, there's certain honesty in pain. So if you're gonna hit me, then give it to me hard. I wanna feel alive, and we've made it this far. So if you're gonna hurt me, then give it to me deep. You can't touch the sky if you're afraid to leave. It takes a few tears to see clear out your eyes. It takes being hurt to identify lies. It takes being tricked to see right through a ruse. It makes someone strong that's not afraid to. It takes a few strokes for your heart to stay raw. It takes a little burn to make sure that it thaws. It takes a fumbling and tumbling to learn how to use the skin that's not strong and not afraid to bruise. Not afraid.
What? You?
I don't know. Everything I've heard about you is really problematic so far, so maybe I'm attracted to you because I want to fix you. Well, I mean, I've already had this problem with one husband. Why not just have it again? Well, actually, maybe the fact that you're here right now, the way you are, makes me think that you're on the right track. Oh, God, no. No, I can't do that. Well, anyways, this is awkward. Gotta go.
So, when were you going to tell me that you were a French courtier? A rich French courtier? Are you actually, or is that all an act too?
Okay. First of all, I thought this might come as a welcome surprise. And second, and more importantly, how was I supposed to know if we had any connection if I showed up here and we got, 5 minutes together? I don't think so. I came weeks early. I disguised myself as a lowly farmhand. I worked in your stables to see you, to be close to you, to show you who I am outside all this.
Weird flex, but okay.
Wow, how nice. You could just drop like 10 classes whenever you feel like it to get a girl. Great. Wait for next week. I'll come to your room and we can switch real quick so I can wipe up too. How about that?
In truth, it let me see how the estate had been keeping up following your father's death, but more importantly, it allowed me to see you at your most natural, not this made-up, performed self.
That's all well and good, but you lied to me. Lied to me. How am I ever supposed to trust you? And besides, everything I said was true. A life in a corset is not appealing to me. I want a life on a farm, away from the performances and all the noise. And I want it with the milk boy that I met at the stable, not some bow-tied, stuck-up French courtier. See, look at that lovely couple. I bet they have no idea what it feels like to want to be something other than what was given them. I don't know. I need some space.
Take all that you need, just Know that I want all those things too. I would give you a farm and tend it every day with you. I too tire of all this noise. The cows don't care what you wear. Everything I told you was true. We can't change who we are. But what we do have control over is what we do with what we're given. So if you need space, I'll give you the whole Milky Way.
There were supposed to be more suitors here. What the hell happened?
Oh, with a mouth like that, you better be glad there aren't more here. Wouldn't do you any good anyway.
Well, despite the odds being overwhelmingly not in my favor, I have managed to secure to some success a successful young author. Good stock, French.
Why is everyone French? And what do you mean to some success?
Well, he keeps avoiding me to get his book published.
Oh, a woman must be respectful of a man in his career endeavors. Those must come first. In fact, you might have more success in trying to support him. After all, that is your job. As a young woman of your age, you must be looking to appear most beautiful and helpful to the men who may court you. Let him do his serious work, and slip in only when he is downtrodden and needs support, or else successful and has a reason to celebrate.
I understand. Foolish of me to try to go after him when he has other things on his mind. I'll try harder to find a better opening, Mama.
Good girl. And mind your bosom. You must be flirtatiously conservative, not a nun.
I take it you're not finding much success with her.
Always the same. Well, she likes your little treat, doesn't she?
Seems to, but he's got problems of his own. I'm not sold yet.
You have time.
Not according to Mama.
Me, on the other hand.
You've only just begun. Don't be so hard on yourself. The odds are stacked against you.
I mean, look at this. Abysmal, really. Well, what about that Liberian fellow Mother invited?
Mother invited him? That's surprising.
Mother can be surprisingly accepting sometimes. Often more of strangers than her own daughters, unfortunately.
I haven't talked to him. I'm too scared.
Sister! Mother tells me he's a scholar.
I'll leave him to you. I have my own thinking lad to deal with. Besides, you don't know if he's single. Mama could be after him. Speaking of single, have you seen our other... As always.
All right, girls, I think it's time. I trust you've prepared something to say. Are you ready? Where's daughter the middle?
What the actual fuck? I quit this fucking family. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. What in the actual fuck is going on here?
Everyone, please excuse my daughter. Her father's death has taken quite the toll on her. She's taken to prayer and seclusion during this
Don't pull
difficult
that shit
time.
on me, you lying bitch. I'm sorry to break up this whole self-congratulatory masturbation session, but we've got some fucking Jane Eyre shit going on here.
Everyone, my daughter has always had the flair for the dramatic. Why don't you grace us with a song downstairs?
I thought that was your specialty, bitch. Ladies and gentlemen, my father is alive.
Everyone, remain calm. Darling, please keep him up there. I can explain everything.
that you all think I'm crazy. When all I do is move my body more freely than you could ever even think to move your minds. What's crazy? What's crazy? What's crazy? Not me. You. You are the pretender. I do not pretend. You pretend. You pretend. You pretend. What's crazy? What's crazy is to deny all the parts of yourself you think are just thoughts thinking by. You deny all the things feeling by. All those thoughts that you wish you could dismiss. What's crazy is trying to dismiss a thought. Thought is movement. Movement is action. Action makes the person, not thought. Not thought. What is thought? It's all one and the same. And I do not deny. I do not try to hide. You try to hide me. And I am the parts of yourself you wish you could show. I am a feeling. Decide what's crazy. You decide what's crazy, not you.
You knew. You let us think that he had disappeared. You let us grieve a father that you locked away. I see now you are the monster.
Us? Grieve? You didn't give it half a tear before realizing it meant you could run off with your farm boy.
Oh, don't put on your righteous cap now. You'd do the same if anyone was insane enough to want you.
This is not the time. You forget your father.
Mother, I trusted you. I thought your tears of grief were real.
They were. You must understand.
Understand what? That you locked up your husband, our father, just so you could, take his money for all your stupid balls and dresses? Or just so you could marry us off sooner?
You must understand I did this for all of us. All of us. You can see that he's mad, dangerous. I suggest you put him back where he came from before he harms himself.
Selfish. All this time, I spent trying to be perfect for you, with you. But you kept me in the dark. You shone the light so brightly on me that I couldn't see behind it to your face. Your masked face, which you showed so proudly. But you secured your mask so tightly that you wouldn't even take it off from me. What's the point of wearing a mask if you can't even take it off in front of those who wear the same one? We've been wearing the same one. We've seen you pretending. I've been pretending with you, for you. I thought I was projecting the image you wanted. But now I realize that I was only ever meant to be a mirror, reflecting back all of the things you wish you saw more of in yourself.
When I first met your father, we were both young, naked and unashamed. In our work, in ourselves, we danced as creatures of the earth. And through ourselves, we had you. And you caught me in a net. And like the fisherman's daughter in the fable, I was both clothed and unclothed. Through you, I was tied to your father, yet betrothed to the rest of the world and controlling your experience of it. And it was through this covering I saw how the rest of the world views those like your father and I, who lived open and bare lives. I saw the only way to protect the nakedness of your father was to layer upon myself the garments which they would thrust upon him. I made a doll of myself, and you, I'm afraid, so that when the inevitable came and your father had to stop dancing, he could return to a family in high enough regard to view his wild spirit as enticingly eccentric rather than tastelessly savage. But then he fell ill. First, it was fits in his sleep. And then comments from his colleagues, those who knew him his whole life, relaying how those fits carried into his waking hours. He would sit and stare at a point for hours at a time, refusing to move for hours at a time. It had been so long since he'd looked at me like that. Since I'd looked at him, seen him. Something in me awoke, as Petrushka, as a doll into life, unsure if I had been asleep or unreal. Perhaps I'm the one who changed.
So, you had to make a choice. Drop the charade and fully support a husband in decline, or continue even further with the hopes that he would get better.
I chose hope. And when it became clear that that hope was unfounded, I did what I had to do to survive. You cannot possibly understand what it is to pretend everything is fine. Everything was all fine with me. Always. It had to be. We are not what we think we are. We are what we think others think we are. And others have to think that the me that they see is the me that is me. But the me that is me is trapped right in here, don't you see? If I show what I know and feel to be true, there won't be enough me that can heal to show you. I can never be fantastic or grim, or anything like him. To keep for us what is fine, the jewels, the gowns, the wine. I must be fine, and only fine. I am fine. Why don't you all just go? I'll be fine. All is fine with me. With me? Fine.
I wish I could tell you that everyone got their happy ending. That our two courtesans loved each other in an open-hearted relationship until the day they died. That my little sister and John the milk boy, who was actually a rich courtier, found the best in their situation and ran a farm and still got invited to all the nice balls. That my older sister and George ended up together, working with Edward to get their work published and recognized, and that my mother realized that pushing people away isn't love, even if you mean the best. I wish I could, but the truth is, I have no idea. I don't know where everyone went. Everyone disappeared. It's one thing to take off your mask, or have it taken off for you, but keeping it off, living nakedly, openly, that takes love and support, and even if these folks are full of it, the world is not always kind to difference, especially to the most open and earnest of us. All I know is I finally stopped trying to obtain approval from someone I would never be perfect for. Instead, I've dedicated myself to my dad, who never wore a mask and paid the price for it. You all probably have nothing like this. Forgive me if this story has wasted your time, but I just think there's something sacred in letting people be whatever they want as long as it's not harming anyone. People are going to talk about you anyway, so you might as well give them something true to hate you for. I don't know. Let's go, Dad.